CURES is sponsored by Wheeler Health's Better Choice program. More at wheelerhealth.org.
Helping you lead a healthier life. This is CURES.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CURES Show, where we explore the cutting edge of wellness for our mind, body, and spirit. Do you want to unblock your purpose? You might want to focus on understanding the subconscious mind. It's something that author Francesca Sipma dives into her new book, Unblock Your Purpose, Breathwork, Intuition, and Flow State. If you don't know what breathwork is or why it could really help you, well, Francesca is here to talk all about it. And I actually had the opportunity before this show to experience a session and to prepare for this interview. And as I was telling you earlier, mind blown. I mean, it's a really cool way to just get clear and feel good. So thank you for being here.
Lovely to see you again.
Yeah. So talk about what breathwork is, because you say sometimes it's like packing years of therapy into just a few sessions.
So breathwork is an experiential therapy, meaning that we're using this conscious connected breath technique to really clear out suppressed emotions that have been stored in our nervous system. So it's very active, it's very intense. A lot of times people are processing childhood memories, they're having expansive visions of the future, they're feeling a lot of physical sensations. And then in our practice particularly, we also layer in hypnotic suggestions to help you have very poignant focal cues so that you can start to rewire and reprogram subconscious limiting beliefs as well.
And what I love about this is you don't have to go to a therapist's office. In your book, you'll talk about common challenges we might have. Maybe it's developing an abundance mindset or relationship challenges. And you sort of walk us through some things that we can learn. And then there's this QR code, and all we do is listen, follow your guidance, and our body does the rest?
Yeah, so each chapter in the book basically has a milestone session that's something that needs to be healed or cleared. And then there's a corresponding hypno-breathwork session on Mastery app where you can start to learn the breathwork technique. So we start off very gently. It's one inhale, one exhale. You start to learn how to listen and focus your mind on specific cues. And then we expand into the full sessions, which are about 22 minutes. There's very active music. You listen to the vocal guidance the entire time. And then the signature part of our experience is we always say, what is your one next action step? So that you have clarity and that clear direction and roadmap on how to take it from an internal experience to actually impacting and changing your life.
So we're getting into how this can really work some miracles, how people can use it to manifest what they're trying to create. But let's go back to you, because you were in that corporate world of go, go, go. And though breath work is an ancient practice, it changed your life. So that set you on a journey to sort of modernize this so regular folks like myself and others can use it.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people can relate to the story of having a career that you really chased after and wanted to have a lot of success and significance with. And I did that in advertising and marketing in Manhattan. And I sort of reached that top of the mountain and realized that I wasn't fulfilled and I felt empty. I felt a bit stuck. I felt a little bit lost. And that's what led me to a self-discovery journey when I tried to really understand my values and what I could do to really have more color and have more meaning in my life. So I went to Bali and discovered breathwork, which was extremely cathartic, very healing, and very transformative for me. And it just became a fascinating practice that I went to go study around the world in Peru and Thailand and India. And I found that there was this opportunity to modernize it by adding the vocal cues, by adding visualization, by adding music and very intentional, meticulous journeys. And we made it topical and we made it accessible to the masses on Mastery app. And then Unblock Your Purpose is really just a deep dive for you to really understand the science and the physiology behind it as well.
You call it hyper efficient. I think for those busy people who are thinking, I want self-care, I want to do these things, but I don't have time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but yet this isn't just your own journey. You're finding in evidence with other people that you work with some major shifts in their life. Can you talk about what people are feeling and seeing and the results you're getting?
Yeah, it's been really profound, honestly. I worked with a lot of C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, artists, founders, And what we're finding is that in just 20 minutes, it's really become a universal experience. The first 4 minutes, we really just focus on the breathing technique and help everybody kind of get into the cadence and the rhythm of the practice. And then we start to bring in the vocal cues of what's blocking you towards that goal. What would the solutions and the decisions look like? What actions would you take as that higher version of yourself? And we started to see people getting into this peak performance state where they had just extreme mental clarity and that sharper cognition and those clear action steps, again, within just 22 minutes across every industry.
Yeah, and in 22 minutes, I mean, it could sound like a lot for some people or not a lot for others, but it's something you can do in the privacy of your own home. You recommend that we do some sort of breath work in the morning. And I guess on another level, what we're doing is we're accessing our subconscious mind. Talk to us about why that matters and why that's so profound to create changes in our outer life when we start that way.
So your subconscious mind is really the storehouse. That's the record holder of all of your experiences. It's where you hold all of your beliefs and your values, your emotions, and everything that's been sort of shaped by your caregivers and your worldview. And so that's the depth that we need to get into in order to create real change. Otherwise, people always feel like they're fighting against the current and their conscious mind, their subconscious motivations are incongruent. So what the breath does is within about 4 minutes of the 2 inhale, 1 exhale technique, it's actually allowing us to go past the conscious mind into the subconscious where we can get to the root of those values, the source of those memories. And then the breath is really exhaling out the emotion. And then again, with the vocal cues, we can start to see more expansive solutions so that they can create real change. So I know for some people, 20 minutes might seem like a lot. When I first discovered breathwork, the sessions were about 90 minutes to 2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So we've definitely condensed it as much as we can. And we really tried to make it, again, very efficient, effective, and results driven.
Yeah, and you do this still in corporations where they teach people how to do this. I guess what I liked, and I like all kinds of therapy. I've experienced lots of modalities. I'm fortunate from doing CURES now for a couple of decades. I'm always trying to figure out these new things. And I like that it's not talk therapy, yet this is a way of clearing trauma, clearing outdated beliefs, but you don't have to sit there and talk about your childhood. Not that that's not valuable for some people at different times, but if that's not your thing or you don't want to get into all that, this kind of goes to the root of it without having to really talk about what happened to you.
Mm-hmm. We're really more focused on the emotion and clearing out the emotion that's underneath the words. Because a lot of times when people are processing or they're journaling or they're going to talk therapy, they don't actually remember what is the root cause of some of those behavior patterns. But when we take it to the breath work has this magical component of always finding the highest emotional charge. So you might be triggered at work and you think it's because your boss isn't giving you the recognition that you deserve. And then you'll go into breath work and you'll see this is actually an underlying pattern from childhood, from maybe your dad not saying that he was proud of you. So we want to kind of remove those underlying currents, get that emotion out of your body so that you can be more clear and be more present.
So let's talk about abundance. That's something that holiday time, people are stressed about bills. You have a chapter in your book about it. You say it's something that's very common that people deal with. But like, as you explain, people are trying to create abundance in their life. How does breath work help them?
So breathwork, once again, gets to the root of where your money beliefs come from. And I think this is an extremely important topic because for a lot of people, they don't invest in their personal development because they have these money blocks. And what you'll find is even though the number in your bank account might change, the beliefs and the emotions around money will be consistent theme throughout your life unless you address what your true subconscious belief is. So as an example, when I transitioned as a coach to an entrepreneur, I had big goals of creating the same lifestyle that I was used to. And I had a very successful sessions or experiences with the breath work, but I wasn't monetizing the practice. And when I went into breath work, I found 3 really shocking money beliefs that I didn't know existed. One was that I resented money because it made my father absent. Another was that I overcompensated because my mom always protected me from scarcity. So as soon as I realized that those were my patterns and that's how I treated money, I could start to expand and see myself feel safe in holding that abundance, see myself expanding my lifestyle and feel that money was constantly flowing, opportunities were constantly flowing. And once you practice that on a subconscious state, then you're more likely and more able to start to attract those opportunities and that reality to you in an external state.
And I think for more and more, spirituality is becoming a popular way for folks. You know, it used to just be like, oh, that's just for church. And of course, we've evolved, and people are looking for more spiritual solutions. I say ways to make your daily grind a more sacred grind. But for those who are interested in not quitting their day job, still living their busy life, this is sort of infusing the idea of success and goals with spiritual practices.
Yeah, I always like to say that spirituality is just your connection to yourself. And it's your ability to really tap into your own intuition and your own inner knowing. And I think that's a very important part of the process when you're making a really difficult transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. A lot of your safety and your security then goes away, and all of your beliefs on finances and having the biweekly paycheck and the 401k and the bonuses and the promotions, all of a sudden you're in the unknown. And you really need a spiritual practice to ground you throughout that so that you don't go into a fear or scarcity place and then maybe backtrack and play small. And what the breathwork does is it allows you to continue connecting to that highest vision, the impact that you want to make, how you can be of service, how you can contribute to something greater than yourself, how you can combine your skills, your gifts, your talents, your experiences. And it allows you to continue taking action towards that goal and towards that life.
Talk about the experience, because it's sort of hard to put into words. It was wonderful to be guided by you. I felt very relaxed. If you're used to doing a guided meditation, I guess it's sort of like that, but it's much more active. Talk about what this experience will be like if you start using the breath work on the app.
So our specific style of hypno breathwork is quite intense, and I don't like to sugarcoat that. So it is very active. It's very physical. You'll feel a lot of vibrations and physical sensations in your hands, around your chest, in your face. And it's much more active than meditation, which is a passive practice. And I get the feedback all the time that meditation is really difficult for a lot of people. They can't get out of their head. Their to-do list is constantly streaming. And that's why people really enjoy the breath work, because they can feel that something's working. They can feel that it's very intriguing because of the physical sensations. And once you can sort of relax into that part of the practice and you allow the stress to kind of move out of your body, you'll start getting deeper emotional insights. You might see some imagery. You might have visions of the future. You might see emotions in the form of colors releasing from your body. It's much more active, it's very intense, and it's oftentimes very enlightening, and there's a lot of breakthroughs and revelations that can happen in a single session.
Yeah, I mean, I think with meditation, people do get intimidated by that, and it's almost maybe a different purpose. Not that you're saying meditation is wrong. Meditation is more like calming us down. This is a practice where we're really moving stuck energy, old beliefs. I mean, you might be clearing childhood trauma. Is it durable? Like when you do these sessions and you feel something release, as I did, do you go back to the way that you were, or is it a permanent release?
So that's why we say that it's really a consistent daily practice if you want to optimize it and get the most out of it. The key, again, in a hypno breathwork session is the last vocal cue is always, what's your one next action step towards that goal or towards the life of your dreams? And so now you are creating a bit more of a permanent movement. And if you do that consistently, doors will start to open and you'll start to magnetize opportunities. So for example, a next action step, once you've cleared the emotion, you've seen the highest vision, your intuition in the breathwork session might say the next action step is to send that email, is to make that call, is to write the letter, is to apologize, is to apply. You know, there's these permanent little movements that you can make. And when you do that daily and you take the actions daily, all of a sudden you're walking on a higher path. You're more in alignment. And again, doors will start to open for you.
Yeah, one of the quotes about your book was they say you pull manifestation out of the clouds and into plain view by anchoring the hokey with science, helping people turn their visions into reality. So manifestation is real. We have a lot of science on it, but people will say, okay, what do you mean? It didn't work for me. I tried it. It didn't work. What type of science tools are we going to learn and be guided to that make it different if you think, I've already tried that. I've already tried, imagining or affirming and nothing happened for me.
Well, manifestation isn't going to work unless you believe in that vision on a subconscious level. And that's the disconnect for a lot of people. They'll say, I want to have this abundance in my life, or I want to have this career. But what's underlying there is a lot of fear, is self-doubt, is belief that they're not worthy of that vision or that they don't deserve to have that. And that's where some healing needs to take place. And that's why in the book, Unblock Your Purpose, the first section, part 1, is all about healing the past. It's going into relationships with your mother, with your father, with your inner child, so that we can clean up, we can start to clear out anything that's disconnecting you from your desire. Once that emotion is cleared and the breath is an accelerator to that, then you can see that vision that you're on stage, that you have that success, that you're in the home, that you have the family, and you can feel it like it actually already exists. And you feel that gratitude, you feel that joy, you feel that creativity, and you take action from that state. Then you're at a completely different frequency. You're on a completely different vibration. And that's when synchronicities will start to happen and you'll magnetize the things that your soul wants to you.
So basically you follow the directions in the book. It's meant to be user friendly. If people are saying, well, I really like watching Francesca, but she's not going to be the one, coaching me. I'm not going to somebody. Do you feel like it's very effective to do this alone, even if you have no experience?
That's a great question. And I did get feedback on one of the reviews on the book that it felt like they were getting one-on-one personally coached by me, because you get a lot of the personal stories. You feel like I'm holding your hand through it. And then there are complimentary hypnobreathwork sessions for each chapter that is with my vocal guidance. But I know that some people do want to have that live experience and they want to be able to breathe in community and they want a facilitator to sort of be there and hold space for them. So we are in January bringing back the Unblock Your Purpose live course, where once a week people can come and experience the sessions live on Zoom together. And one of my master coaches will be taking them through that. And then I'll come in once a month for live Q&A.
Yeah, and that's actually something that you've done since you've left the corporate world. You've developed this program that really helped you, and now you've trained other coaches, so people can look for coaches that are trained in your methodology.
Absolutely. There's about 125 hypnobreathwork coaches now worldwide. We are international. We have coaches all around Europe, in Asia, and then obviously in the States, also in Australia. So if you are looking for more of that one-on-one, customized, very specific and curated experience, then we can definitely connect you with a coach as well.
So let's just talk about breathing in general. I know people have to, I suggest that you go and you can go to your website, right? It's francescasipma.com and you can get the book. But to really experience it, you probably have to try it. But talk about the mechanism here and how we breathe. What is breath work as far as how we do it and what's happening to us?
Yeah, so this style of breath work as a psycho-spiritual practice for healing is really more of that experiential therapy. So you're feeling all of your senses are activated. You're taking an inhale into your belly, an inhale into your heart, and then you're exhaling. And you're doing it in a circular connected motion for about 20 minutes. And what that's doing is it's really clearing out the gunk. It's clearing out the emotions that have been suppressed, that you've numbed out, that you haven't wanted to touch. But the reality is those things don't leave our body. And that stacked energy and emotion, it affects our decisions. It affects our relationships. It affects how we show up in the world. So we want to start to learn how to process our feelings. And I like to say a lot in my sessions, the more we feel, the more we heal. And it's really true. The more you're using the breath to clear out some of these emotions, the more clarity you're going to feel after. You're going to feel attuned to your intuition. You're going to have more creative ideas as you're walking down the street, in the shower, and even in your breath sessions. And you're just going to get into alignment, and you're going to start to experience a lot more ease, a lot more flow state, and a lot more joy.
I think we all want more of that. Pause for a moment. We're going to hear from our sponsors, then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about how you can unlock that flow state on demand. Take a listen.
Struggling with gambling? Wheeler Health's Better Choice program offers personalized support and treatment to help you regain control. Visit wheelerhealth.org to learn more and take the first step towards recovery today.
We just heard from one of our mental health sponsors that's talking about addiction, talking about overcoming things that might be really holding you back. And I am here with Francesca Sipma. She has written a book, Unlock Your Purpose, and we're talking about breath work. Some of it might just be, okay, I want to manifest, I want to feel better. What if you are dealing with some really serious mental health issues, perhaps? Anxiety, depression, a divorce, an addiction. Will breath work help you break the cycle?
Well, a lot of people say that anxiety is really not allowing yourself to feel. It's holding your breath, it's shallow breathing. So just by the mechanism of the breath alone, it's releasing that tension from your body, and it's releasing that anxious energy. And then from a physiological perspective, we hear a lot that depression is really being stuck in habitual thought loops. And what the breath does is it really starts to break it up. It's changing the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your body, which starts to quiet down the prefrontal cortex and the default mode network. And those are those habitual thought patterns. So when we can disrupt the old thought and the feeling that you're going to wake up and it's going to be the same mundane day, and you don't see those other options and solutions, the breath is going to disrupt that, and it's going to start to stimulate and activate different regions of your brain. So you might see a new image of your future. You might feel this sense of relief and see that there is a North Star and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So absolutely, breathwork is extremely effective if you're experiencing feelings of anxiety and depression.
And what about relationship challenges? You know, people are in relationships. They might be fighting with their boss or their partner, and they keep having the same issues come up in different ways. And of course, you could go to couples therapy, or you could find a new job, but you talk about relationships in your book, and so much of relationships are patterns. And this is a way that you can change patterns just with you, even if the other person doesn't know about it, and you might notice big differences.
This is a fascinating concept, and I was mind blown when I started using breath work in relationships. And in full transparency, I'm a lot more effective in work and business than I have been notoriously in personal relationships. So it has been very cathartic and very healing for me. What ends up happening if you do breath work and you focus on a specific person and you see the trigger, you see the fight, the conflict, what they said that irritated you or upset you, you will start to get to the root of where that stemmed from. That was actually the dynamic with your mother or with your father, or you're actually projecting 3 relationships ago onto your current partner. And you'll get this insight and you'll get this self-awareness, and you'll actually dissipate the source of the emotion in real time. So I recently had this experience with my partner where I was very busy on the book tour. I'd just been in 7 cities in 2 weeks, and I came home and I said, I think you need to be more supportive. I think you need to be more patient with me. I was hoping that you would be more understanding. And I was very frustrated that he wasn't seeing how stressed out I was and that he wasn't being more accommodating. And I was completely sure that I was in the right. And then I went into a breathwork session and I was crying immediately because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I have completely deprioritized my relationship in this season. And now I'm expecting more and giving less. And I realized that I was the one who needed to apologize and shift the dynamic. So it still works for me all the time.
Yeah. So let's say you're having an argument. Would you recommend you kind of dive in and use something, tap on the app and get some clarity, take that 5 or these 20 minutes before you go and, probably say something that you regret?
Yeah, exactly that. And, we have an entire category on the app called love, and that allows you to, either heal heartbreak or find more trust in your relationship or just get into a more open-hearted space. And yes, it's 20 minutes, but that's far more efficient than fighting for 3 days, being stuck in your own vantage point, being highly defensive, reactive, and triggered, when you can just breathe in 20 minutes, dissolve the emotion, have way more compassion for the other person's lens, what they're going through, feel that empathy, and reconnect and repair.
So you talk about tapping into flow state anytime. Like if you need it, obviously you have left the corporate world to create an international business, to launch an app, to do a bunch of stuff I imagine you didn't know much about before you went down this journey, and now it's happening. So you have to be able to unlock that problem solving and that flow and, kind of on demand when you're leading the busy lives. And you say breathwork can help us do that, kind of drop in that to that state so we know we're making the best decisions, even on the fly.
Breathwork can hack flow state on demand in 20 minutes. And when I'm talking about flow state, we're referring to optimal consciousness. This is when everything is effortlessly flowing. You're making new creative connections. It's when discipline meets surrender. There's intrinsic motivation. And my favorite way of defining it is when productivity meets alignment. And I really discovered flow state breathwork by happenstance. It was when I was making the transition to being a coach. And I treated my bedroom like a war room, like I did in my ad exec days. And I had the spiritual benefits, the psychological benefits, the physiological benefits, messaging strategy, content pillars, partnerships. And I had all of these things on different white papers. And I would go to breathe to more binaural beats music. So I was activating all the parts of my brain. And I would just get ideas. I would get marketing ideas, workshop ideas, themes, emails I needed to send, people I needed to reach out to. And I did this every single morning to build my business. And within my first year, I made back my marketing director salary, more than doubled it in my second year, and then started bringing it to corporations and different organizations and teams. And I found that if you have groups of people focus on a project, focus on a pitch, focus on the impact that they want to make in the world, see their 2025 roadmap, see how they want their audience to feel, then we could get into these collective states where everybody was feeling clarity, creativity, and more collaboration.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I encourage everyone. It's a great way. I just want to put the book cover up again. The book is available everywhere now, wherever you want to get your books. You can go on Amazon and just type in Unblock Your Purpose, Breathwork, Intuition, and Flow State by Francesca Sipma. And tell us about how we only have a minute left, Francesca, but how do we download the app so that we can get going?
Yeah, you can download Mastery. It's Mastry on the Apple or Google Play Store. And there's 80 different sessions across whatever topic or intention that you need that day. Breathe for 20 minutes, take your action step. There's a digital journal that says, what's your action step? And you get a badge as soon as you complete it. And you'll be on your way to manifesting your dream life. And
you've got your website. I'm sure all of that is there as well. It's francescasipma.com. And following you on social media, where I know you're posting content there, just your name as well, at Francesca Sipma, right?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And for those of you who are hoping the next year, 2025, is your best yet, maybe breathwork can help make that all happen for you. So thank you for being with us, Francesca. I loved our session, and I really think this is an amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And for all of you at home, I hope you're having a great day and be well. You can follow me at Kara Sundlin on social media and go to the CURES podcast anytime to listen to this episode and all the rest as well. Have a great day, everyone, and be well.